These are emails I've received here from one of the doctors. I came across your live radio show, Dr. Dahan, by accident. And after watching several of your videos, I'm very impressed. Thank you very much. That's a kind message. I appreciate your support. My clinic is very busy with over 60 new patients per month. But my revenue is so much less than some of my colleagues who work less hours and have less new patients. My current consultant tells me I should be happy to have as many patients as I have, but he obviously cannot help me. I'm at a loss as to what to do and what to ask. It's an interesting question, right? This is something. So basically what you're saying is you've been busy and you're treating a lot of people. I mean, 60 new patients, it's a good number. It could be bigger, it could be smaller, but it's certainly today, it's a good number. If you're considering that we work about 5 days a week, Monday through Fridays, and there's about 4 weeks, so you're talking about 4 weeks at 5 days, that's 20 days. And at 60 new patients, you divide the 60 by 20 days, that's a lot of patients for those 20 days. If you think about it, that's quite a bit. So knowing that you have that many patients, of course they don't all come spread out. I'm sure they come throughout the month. But you're not concerned so much about the new patient, you're concerned about your revenue because you're making less than other people. That's your question. Let me first say about other people. First of all, you don't know what they're making. Even though you may hear what they're saying, that may not be true. You should know that. It's unfortunate, but among professionals, sometimes people, in an overzealous manner, overemphasize what they're making. They all say it. You know, I'm making $200,000 a week. I'm making $5 million a year. Well, it's not so much what they're making. The first question is, how much of that are you keeping? There's a big difference. I'm always interested when a doctor calls me who's interested in joining our consulting firm and says, I have a very large clinic and I'm collecting $2 million. I'm doing extremely well. Okay, well, if you're collecting that much money, how much are you spending of that money? Well, I collect $2 million, but I spend 1.9. So what are you left with? $100,000 a year? Think about that for a second. Think about that. It's not so much what you're making, but you have to take into consideration A, what you're spending, B, what you're left with, and C, above everything else, are you happy with what you're doing? Because you could be making a lot of money. You could be taking home $800,000-$900,000 a year, $1 million, $5 million a year. You could be taking home that kind of money and not be happy. And then, what is it like? I heard, interestingly enough, I read Steve Jobs said in one of his last moments, remember the man had billions of dollars in his bank, tremendous amount of money. Also had all kinds of acquisitions. I believe they owned a certain amount of shares in Disneyland. I mean, he had so much. It's not even funny. It's beyond imagination. But he was in the mid-50s when he passed away. And he could not buy himself another day of health care. Think about that. He couldn't buy himself one more day. No one in the world could help him. All his money. And he couldn't buy one more day on this earth. To have health is a privilege. It's a gift. It's not given to everybody. So you have to ask yourself, first of all, are you happy in your practice? Never mind what other people are making. Are you happy with your practice? That's your first question. If the answer is yes, the second question is, are you helping a lot of people? Are you taking what you know, what you've got, the gift, the privilege, the honor, the right to practice and helping other people live a better life? If the answer is yes, that is 2-star for you right there. Here's the third question. Are you paying your bills? And the answer is yes, that's 3 stars now. You're doing great. You're happy, helping people, paying your bills. Here's the fourth one. With what you're doing, are you constantly growing? And if the answer is yes, that's 4 stars. Now you want the 5th star? I'll give it to you. Are you healthy yourself? If you are healthy, and your mind is healthy, and you have a good relationship with your spouse, with your family, with God, then you're a good man. And you've got everything that it takes. That's a 5 star. And stop looking at what other doctors are doing. We often don't know what other people live like. We often don't know what other people have. You're not sure. When you see someone and they're not doing very well, you have to ask yourself, are they happy? Probably not. But you see someone, sometimes they come and they're always the life of the party. I had a friend of mine like this, as a matter of fact, when I was in graduate school. And wherever that person came, as soon as he came in, he was the life of the party. He was the life of the party. And I once asked him privately, I was already married, and I had actually 2 children, and I was still in graduate school. And I asked him, how come you're not married? He said to me, I don't have a date. So what do you mean you don't have a date? I said, I haven't had a date for years. I said, really? Such a charming person? That charisma? The ability to walk in and make everybody feel great and friendly with everybody? He said, I am totally shy when it comes to asking a girl out. And I haven't had a date. I wish I could meet someone. And there it is. Isn't that amazing? Here is a man who could walk in to a party and turn everything upside down, and everybody's focused on who he is, what he does, and everybody's so happy with him. That was charisma. And at its utmost level. But he himself inside was a lonely man without too many friends and certainly no spouse. And at that moment you ask yourself, wow, then I should be happy with what I've got. Absolutely. Absolutely. Every time you see someone who has more than you, ask yourself, not how come, but thank you. Simple as that. Thank you. You say, what's the question for me? No question. It's a statement. Ask yourself, am I happy with what I've got? That's it. Be happy with what you've got. Be happy where you are at all times. Be satisfied. I'm not saying don't grow. I'm not saying don't get more. Same thing in here. In this question, it doesn't mean you shouldn't grow your practice. You've got 60 patients. You're doing quite well. You're doing quite well. Now, if you think you're not charging enough and your services are less than they should be charged according to usual customary fee schedule, then you can raise your fees. If you think your expenses are too high, go ahead and decrease your expenses. Go over them. But ask yourself the question, are my friends really telling me that they are happy, or they're just showing off by saying they're doing so much better? I dare say that most of the time when you hear people say these things, it's not because they're making a lot more money, it's because that they have to pump themselves. And you'll find that quite often, that when people have to speak so much about what they've got, is because they don't have a lot. It's really true. The one that does have a lot doesn't speak much. If you want to see this, look at all the amazing, wealthy people that you see in the world today. And they themselves live a simple life, most of them. Most of them live a simple life, a direct life. Now, they may have to have some amenities, obviously a big office and a big home, because it just comes with the opportunities that they were given. But they often live a simple life. It's a good lesson. I hope you remember that, and I hope this answered your question. I thank you very much for taking the time. Please feel free to give me some comments at any time. I will respond to all your comments at Dr. Dahan at DahanLive.com. And I'm happy if you subscribe to my channel so that we can at all times keep you abreast, and make sure you click on the notification so I can send you all the latest which we produce on a regular basis. Thank you very much for your question. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel and click the notification bell to get my latest update.